Joining me now to explain the executive orders by President Bola Tinubu is the Director General of the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, Mr. Adewale Smart Oyeride. Thank you for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you for having us. Good evening.
All right, so let's get into it. The first breakdown for us is the executive orders by President Bola Tinubu and how employers and business owners are reacting to it. I mean, how do you put that in perspective?
Well, thank you once again. For us, as the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, the voice of business in Nigeria, it was a good news, we must say. It was a news that gladdens our heart, coming from the twilight of the last administration, where a legacy, what we call a legacy of taxes, was bequeathed on organized businesses. So when these 4 executive orders came, it was a welcome development because, first, if you find yourself in a hole, the first thing you stop doing is to stop digging. Once you stop digging, then you find yourself back to the zero level, to the ground level, before you now start on the trajectory of growth. And what the 4 executive orders, what they've done is to stop digging, to stop the organized businesses from digging further or from going into extinction. Because many of the components of the executive orders, or the components that the executive orders try to resolve, were issues that we've continuously advocated for. New taxes were introduced by the twilight of the last administration. The issue of custom and excise duty came up. The issue of tax on plastic came up. And we engaged constructively to show the damage that these taxes or these new introductions will do to organized businesses. So immediately we received the news of the executive order, where it didn't solve the whole issue, but it has brought us to a point where we stopped digging, or where we stopped digging the grave for organized businesses in Nigeria. As I said, there were issues that shouldn't have been. They didn't take cognizance of the issue of what to tax, how much to tax, and exactly when to tax. When organized businesses are already struggling, most are already doing the jackpot syndrome, living in droves from Nigeria to other environments to go and transact business and turning the country to a sales point. We feel there is an urgent need for us to stop that slide. And the 4 executive orders, they did just that, to stop the slide. As I said, they didn't resolve the issues because some of those components of the orders basically extended the implementation date or postponed the implementation date of some of those critical components of the laws that we are canvassing that the government should stop. So for us, it gives us a breather to engage. It creates a platform where organized businesses can now constructively engage the administration to show them the definitive impact of those components of that law. But the executive orders has given us a breather, as I said, for constructive engagement. And it will, for now, stop the slide into extinction for many businesses within the organized private sector. And even the MSME and the SMEs that also play a major part within the context of GDP growth and job creation for this country.
All right, so finally, what more should the government do to ease the impact of subsidy removal on Nigerians? Because the people are definitely feeling the heat, as it were.
I think a lot more. First, we're happy that the president announced the appointment of Mr. Taiwo Oyedele as chairman of the Tax Reform Committee, which is good for the economy, is good for organized businesses, is good for the nation. We think government should also do quickly, to a holistic review of the tax system that the committee is meant to address. Currently, organized businesses pay over 60 different taxes, levies, and fees across the 3 tiers of government. And we feel it is high time we do the needful by harmonizing those taxes in the immediate. And we think government should also review the VAT on AGO, on diesel. Those are components that can also compromise the good intention of government through the issue of the executive orders. We also think government should focus quickly on what we call wage goods now. For everybody, all individuals, both household, both workers, we all spend money predominantly on three things: money on food, money on transportation, and also money on accommodation, housing. So if government can, in the short term, medium term, and long term, deal with these issues that is at the heart of the survival of the average Nigerians, I think we will have started on a good path of resolving the issues arising from the subsidy regime. And not to mention, lastly, the issue of the national minimum wage that is due for negotiation in 2024. I think the machinery to start the conversation about the national minimum wage should actually start now, so that by 2024 we are able to arrive at a realistic and a justifiable minimum wage for Nigerian workers.
Mr. Adewale Smart Onyeride, the DG of the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, we thank you so much for your thoughts on the news at 10. Thank you once again.
Thank you.